Samantha Parker slowly pulled her car into the parking lot of the Willow Haven Heritage Club. The cobblestone driveway glistened under the morning sun, neat and perfect like everything her parents admired. She sat for a moment, staring at the grand Georgian-style building ahead, with its tall white columns and manicured gardens. Her stomach tightened. Even after years of success, she still felt like a guest in her own family. She glanced down at her outfit: light gray designer jeans, a navy blue blazer, and Italian leather loafers. Polished but comfortable. Still, a voice inside whispered they'll find something wrong anyway. She took a deep breath, stepped out of the car, and walked toward the terrace where her parents waited. Her father, Richard Parker, stood tall in his beige linen suit, the perfect image of old Charleston pride. Her mother, Evelyn, looked elegant as ever, pearls gleaming against her cream blouse. Beside them sat her older sister, Chloe, poised, polished, and painfully perfect. Their smiles were for show. Samantha could sense the tension underneath. As she approached, her father's expression tightened. "Samantha," he said, his tone cool. "Did you forget where you are? This is a respectable establishment." Samantha froze mid-step. Conversations around the terrace paused. She forced a calm smile. "Good morning to you too, Dad." Her mother sighed dramatically. "Really, Samantha? Jeans? At the Heritage Club?" "They're Armani," Samantha replied quietly. "They're denim," Evelyn snapped. "Everyone else managed to dress appropriately. You look like staff, not family." Chloe laughed softly. "Honestly, Sam, did you come straight from cleaning your apartment?" Heat flooded Samantha's cheeks. Around them, people had stopped eating, pretending not to watch. Her father waved to a waitress. "Excuse me," he said coldly, "please call management. Someone seems out of place here." The young waitress hesitated, glancing nervously at Samantha. "I'm sorry, sir, I'll need to check with the manager." Samantha's throat tightened. She wanted to sink into the floor. For a second she was 10 years old again, being scolded for getting a B+ while Chloe brought home straight A's. The same shame, the same silence. "If I'm embarrassing you," she said softly, "I can leave." Her father's lips curved into a thin smile. "Good. That would be best." Before she could move, an older hostess touched her arm gently. "Miss Parker." The woman's name tag read Mrs. Henderson. Samantha recognized her, the same hostess whose husband needed expensive medicine last year. Samantha had quietly paid for it. Mrs. Henderson leaned closer and whispered, "Don't let them shame you, dear. Some of us see everything." Something in Samantha's chest shifted. Her shoulders straightened. "Thank you," she said quietly. Samantha turned back toward her family. They were already whispering to each other, smug and certain she'd leave. Instead, she walked to the table, pulled out a chair, and sat down. "I believe I'll stay for brunch after all," she said, calmly placing her napkin on her lap. Her mother's fork froze midair. "What did you say?" "I said I'm staying. I'm hungry." Her father's face darkened. "This is unacceptable." Jeans at the Heritage Club. Completely unacceptable. Samantha smiled faintly. "Then perhaps you should call the owner," she said. "Maybe they'll have a different opinion." Richard's eyebrows shot up. "Call the owner?" he repeated, his tone full of disbelief. "You think the owner of this club would tolerate this nonsense?" Chloe smirked. "She's trying to act confident, Daddy. It's kind of cute." Samantha didn't answer. She unfolded her napkin slowly and picked up the menu. The sunlight streaming through the terrace glass made the silverware gleam. Around her, people were still watching, curious and whispering. Her mother leaned toward Richard. "Just call management, dear. Let's end this embarrassment before anyone else sees." He nodded sharply and motioned again for a staff member. "Yes, get the manager," he said. "Yow." A tall woman in a neat black suit approached their table. Her name tag read Kendra Holt, floor manager. "Good morning, Mr. Parker," she said politely. "Is there a problem?" "There certainly is," Richard said, gesturing toward Samantha without looking at her. "This girl is dressed inappropriately. I'd like to speak to the owner immediately." Kendra's expression stayed calm. "Of course, sir. I'll have our executive director come over." Samantha folded her hands, watching her family enjoy their little performance. Her father looked proud. Her mother smiled tightly. Chloe's smirk grew wider. Let them play their game, Samantha thought. They'll learn the rules soon enough. While they waited, Richard continued his lecture. You see, Samantha, this is what I've always warned you about: appearances matter. Respect matters. A lady should know how to present herself. Evelyn added, your sister understands. She married well. She knows how to fit into society. Chloe tilted her chin, glowing under the praise. It's not hard, Sam. You just have to stop trying to be different all the time. Samantha took a sip of water, her eyes on the sunlight reflecting off the harbor. Being different isn't a crime, Chloe. Pretending is worse. Her father slammed his napkin onto the table. Enough with the attitude. You sound ungrateful. At that moment, a second woman appeared, graceful, confident, dressed in a deep burgundy suit. Good morning, she said, her voice calm but firm. I'm Nora Sloan, the executive director of Willow Haven Heritage Club. I understand there's a concern. Richard straightened proudly. Yes, Miss Sloan. I'd like to speak with the owner. This young woman seems to think she can wear jeans in an establishment like this. Nora's face remained unreadable. I've already spoken with the owner. Perfect, Richard said, standing taller. Then let's see what they think. Nora looked directly at Samantha and a faint smile crossed her face. The owner is sitting right here. The words struck like thunder. Forks clattered. A nearby couple gasped. Evelyn's hand flew to her pearls. What did you just say? Nora's voice didn't waver. Miss Samantha Parker is the legal owner of Willow Haven Heritage Club. Chloe's mouth fell open. That's impossible. Richard blinked, color draining from his face. You must be joking. Samantha set down her glass calmly. It's not a joke, Dad. I bought this club last year. Nora nodded. The records are all in order. Ownership transferred to Miss Parker after the previous board's financial collapse. The silence that followed was deafening. Why would you do that? Her mother whispered, her voice trembling. Because it was a good investment, Samantha said evenly. And because I believe this place needed new leadership. Richard's fists clenched. You can't possibly handle something like this. You've never managed anything of this scale. Samantha tilted her head. I've been running a tech company for years. But you never asked about my work, remember? Chloe snapped. You bought this place just to humiliate us. Samantha's voice stayed calm. No, Chloe. I bought it because I believed it could be better. The humiliation part wasn't my idea. Nora cleared her throat politely. Perhaps we should continue this in my office, she suggested. Richard bristled. I'll have my attorney look into this. That's your choice, Samantha said, rising from her chair. But in the meantime, let's follow procedure. The entire terrace watched as they walked toward the main building. Portraits of the club's founders lined the hallway, old faces staring down at the family drama unfolding beneath them. Evelyn whispered to her husband, everyone's looking at us. This is a disaster. Not for me, Samantha said quietly. Not anymore. Inside the office, Nora gestured to a long polished table. Please have a seat. Richard refused. I demand an explanation. Nora's assistant opened a folder and placed it neatly before him. All documentation is here. The club was purchased for $16.4 million. Miss Parker is the managing partner of Parker Leisure Holdings. Evelyn's face went pale. $16 million? Where did you even get that kind of money? My tech company sold last year, Samantha said. I used part of the proceeds. Her father scoffed. You expect us to believe that? Samantha met his glare calmly. You don't have to believe it. It's still true. The silence stretched. Chloe shook her head furiously. You bought this place to get revenge. Admit it. I don't need revenge, Samantha said softly. I needed peace. But you wouldn't understand that. Richard slammed his hand on the table. I've been a member here for 30 years. You can't lecture me about respect. Samantha's tone didn't change. You're also a member who just tried to have the owner removed. That's a violation of club policy. Nora nodded. Article 7.2, Sir, conduct damaging to the club's reputation. Evelyn gasped. You wouldn't dare. I would, Samantha said. Because this time I can. Nora straightened her notes. Per club rules, a temporary suspension can be issued immediately, followed by committee review within 14 days. Richard's jaw dropped. You're not serious. Samantha looked him squarely in the eye. I am. Starting today your membership is suspended. Chloe jumped up. You can't do this to your own family. Samantha exhaled slowly. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm enforcing the same rules you expected everyone else to follow. Nora handed Richard a form. Please sign here to acknowledge the suspension. Evelyn's hands shook as she whispered, You've destroyed this family. Samantha stood tall, her voice steady. No, Mom. I finally stopped letting it destroy me. Richard's face turned crimson. This is ridiculous. You're my daughter, not my boss. Samantha kept her tone calm. Inside these walls I'm the owner and everyone follows the same rules. Evelyn's lip quivered. You'll regret this, Samantha. People will talk. You're embarrassing the family name. Samantha folded her arms. No, Mom. You embarrassed yourself the moment you tried to throw me out. Chloe crossed her arms, glaring. You've gone too far this time. You think money gives you power, but it doesn't buy class. Samantha smiled faintly. Then I suppose you'll have to learn what real class looks like, starting with humility. Nora signaled discreetly to the two security officers standing near the door. Escort Mr. and Mrs. Parker, please, she said professionally. Richard's voice rose. Don't you dare touch me. Sir, one of the guards said politely, please gather your belongings. We'll escort you to your vehicle. Evelyn gasped as she stood. You're really doing this? Samantha nodded slowly. I am. Because it's time someone reminded you that respect goes both ways. As the guards guided them out, the sound of Richard's angry footsteps echoed down the hallway. Chloe followed, her eyes full of disbelief and hatred. Samantha didn't flinch. When the door finally closed, the office fell silent. Samantha let out a shaky breath she didn't realize she was holding. Mrs. Henderson entered quietly, carrying a cup of coffee. You did the right thing, Miss Parker, she said softly. Samantha gave a small, grateful smile. Thank you for earlier and for now. The older woman nodded. Kindness always finds its way back, dear. You just proved that. Samantha took the cup, feeling its warmth spread through her palms. For the first time she felt something she hadn't in years: peace. Outside the window, sunlight shimmered across the harbor. It looked like freedom. That night, Samantha sat on her bed, her phone buzzing non-stop. The screen lit up with calls and messages: her parents, Chloe, even her father's lawyer. She let it ring. Again and again. When she finally opened one text from Chloe, it read, You can't do this. Think about what people will say. Samantha stared at it for a moment, then powered off her phone. The room went quiet, and for the first time in years she slept without anxiety twisting in her chest. The silence felt like a soft victory. Her dreams were peaceful. Morning sunlight streamed through her curtains when her attorney, Amanda Lewis, arrived. Dressed in a gray suit and carrying a thick file, she sat at the kitchen island with a confident smile. I've reviewed everything, Amanda said. You acted completely within your legal rights. Samantha exhaled. So they can't sue me? They can try, Amanda replied, but they'll lose. You followed the bylaws exactly. Samantha stirred her coffee thoughtfully. My father has powerful friends. He'll call everyone he knows. Amanda shrugged. Let him. Power doesn't replace proof. And the proof is all on your side. Later that afternoon Nora called. Your father has been busy, she said. He's contacted 3 board members trying to overturn the suspension. And? Samantha asked. They reminded him he's not a member anymore. One even asked why a suspended guest was calling about club matters. Samantha smiled faintly. So much for influence. Nora chuckled softly. He also demanded the security footage from that day. I told his lawyer it's already archived for the committee's review. Good, Samantha said. Keep it that way. No special treatment. Not even for my family. Understood, Nora replied firmly. 2 days later, Samantha visited the club early in the morning. The terrace smelled of fresh flowers and soft music played from hidden speakers. Staff members greeted her warmly as she passed. Good morning, Miss Parker, one said. She smiled. Morning, everyone. Mrs. Henderson joined her on the terrace, holding a tray of tea. The staff are proud of you, she said. They've been talking all week. Samantha raised an eyebrow. Good talk or bad? Good, Mrs. Henderson said with a knowing grin. They finally believe kindness is respected here again. Samantha looked out toward the harbor, feeling a quiet sense of renewal. 2 weeks later, the committee's official letter arrived. The envelope was heavy, sealed with the club's gold emblem. Samantha opened it slowly, scanning the words. Permanent membership termination for Richard and Evelyn Parker. Associate status revoked for Chloe Renner. She took a deep breath and set the letter down. No tremor in her hand, no rush of guilt, just relief. That evening she drove home along the coastal road. The sunset reflected off the water like melted gold. Some endings didn't come with applause. They came with peace, silence, and the knowledge that she had finally chosen herself. A month passed. Samantha continued running Willowhaven with calm efficiency. The renovations finished ahead of schedule and membership requests began flooding in. During the annual charity gala, she stood near the terrace where her humiliation once took place. The same terrace now buzzed with laughter and music. "Miss Parker," Nora said, approaching with her tablet, "we've doubled last year's donations." Samantha smiled. "That's wonderful news." Guests greeted her warmly, no longer with judgment, but with genuine respect. Mrs. Henderson, now promoted to hospitality director, raised her glass. "You changed this place, ma'am." Samantha replied softly, "No, I just reminded it what respect looks like." As the gala continued, Samantha stepped outside to the balcony overlooking the harbor. The night air was cool, the lights from sailboats twinkling across the water. Her reflection shimmered in the glass door, stronger, calmer, completely herself. Nora joined her quietly. "You've rebuilt everything they tried to break," she said. Samantha nodded. "And maybe I rebuilt myself too." She turned toward the horizon, watching the tide roll in. "For years I thought I needed their approval to feel worthy. Now I know I only needed my own." The wind carried her words into the night, and for the first time she truly felt free.